for, retainer of semen and lifter of weights. He is wild, hairy, dominant, breathing into his balls and bonding with his bros. And more than anything, he charges you monthly for his content. Welcome to Manclan.
We are your alpha hosts and the paragons of masculinity.
Annie Kelly.
And Julian Field.
Welcome, treasured listener, to the final Manclan episode of the season. It has been a long and arduous journey bringing you these parables of masculine valor, courage, and chivalry in a digital age crying out for heroes. And the time is shortly arriving when Julian and I will have taught you all we can about being a man in the modern world. We will soon be packing up our things and returning to the forest, where we will lie in wait until a new generation needs us to teach them our primal visions surrounding the art of ancient manliness.
Yeah, one last thing before we go. It was women's fault.
Well, way to ruin the punchline, Julian.
Fuck.
Now, if you've been listening to us all the way through, you might have gotten the impression that the manosphere is the online space where no woman dares to tread. It's literally got man in the name, for God's sake. What more could they do to make clear there's no girls allowed? And yet, for as long as I've been monitoring this space, it's always had its active female participants and thought leaders. I thought that we could use this episode to explore what that looks like and remind our listeners that even Manclan, one of the highest T podcasts of all time, must eventually surrender to the feminist agenda. That's right, dear listener. You are now listening to Womanclan.
The moon is in control, boys.
We're taking over. Being a woman in the manosphere, it turns out, is something of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, there's a lot less of them than the fellas, which naturally makes them a bit more interesting via the power of scarcity.
Yeah.
They tend to gain followers and fame a lot more easily than their male counterparts. On the other hand, the ladies of the manosphere are undoubtedly under a great deal more scrutiny. Building up an audience of male users, united only by their resentment towards women, always runs the risk that you might end up doing something that pisses them off, which is pretty easy to do because almost everything women do pisses them off.
Yeah, this is the old parrot in a cage.
This means that women in the manosphere frequently tend to follow a similar trajectory. They'll start out often with the premise that they're talking to young women, finally delivering to them the hard truths that feminism has kept from them. This is all a facade, of course. Their audience is always majority men who just enjoy the idea that women somewhere are getting educated by a peer. These women tend to get famous very quickly and typically pretty young, but I've noticed that most of them tend to burn out after a few years or so. Those of them that do stick around usually take a step back, citing family reasons, and espouse much more nuanced versions of their hardline anti-feminist takes than before. Still, there's always someone waiting in the wings to take their place. The most recent girl wonder of the manosphere is an American 26-year-old called Hannah Pearl Davis, who goes by the moniker JustPearlyThings on YouTube. Do you get it? It's a play on Just Girly Things.
Oh, no, I didn't, but now I do.
It actually took me a really long time to figure that out as well, but yeah, that's what it is.
Well, I guess as far as YouTubers go, we should just be happy it doesn't contain a slur.
True. As I've been conducting research for the Manclan series, it's been impossible to miss Pearl's content. It began to get aggressively shoved at me the more I trained the algorithm into believing this was the kind of stuff I like. At first, I was a little bit bored by it all. It didn't seem like Pearl was really saying anything particularly new that hadn't been popular manosphere talking points for literal decades now. According to Pearl, women are everything that's wrong with the world today. We're too fat, but also too vain and image obsessed. Too lazy, but also too career-focused, and too slutty, while also simultaneously being too picky. And as a consequence, society is crumbling around us. We've abandoned the home, our God-given sanctuary, put off giving birth to children, the one singular thing Pearl begrudgingly admits we're good at, and entered the institutions, making them feminized, weak, and unstable.
Wow.
We should honestly consider ourselves lucky that heterosexual men have any sexual interest in us at all. This is her message, and it's one she repeats over and over again.
Women divorce men 70 to 80% of the time. I would argue in relationships, it's probably similar. Men aren't leaving, women are. So to a guy's point of view, he's going to commit to this girl. And what does he get? He doesn't get purity anymore. You know, these hoes. You know, he doesn't get youth anymore. So he doesn't get either of those things. A lot of times she already has a kid. So he's not fulfilling his mating strategy. On top of that, even if he does find a good woman that maybe has the qualities he's looking for, she was going to want him to marry her. Right? And what does he get out of that? Oh, she can leave and take half. and take my kids. And she's paid to take my kids away from me. She gets more money if she takes my children. And so from the men's point of view, they're just kind of like, F it, because like women aren't wives nowadays. And what do they get out of it?
But
like men are
sorry.
logical. They're logical people. And so they're thinking, does the benefit outweigh the cost? And like, I just think as women, we have to look at ourselves and say, the benefits we bring nowadays don't outweigh the cost for most men.
That is genuinely insane. I have to say that, like, to choose this position and to become this person on YouTube, yeah, something is deeply wrong. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This is unsustainable, I think. And I'm not even really sure, like, what is the end game in these kinds of claims, I guess?
Well, I mean, I think there's just a big market for it, you know?
There we go. Yeah. I mean, she does have 1.75 million subscribers. So,
Yeah, and that's like, she's only reached that in the year or so that I've been back on my manosphere research grind set. She surged from 25,000 subscribers in May 2022 to 1.7 million now. So that's like huge growth, just like really rapid growth. And part of the way she's achieved that is through putting out what I can only describe as a truly prolific level of content. Reaction videos, daily episodes, interviews, as well as several hours-long dating podcast panel shows. Even with what seems to be a full production team behind her, it seems fair to say that Davis has a strong work ethic. Unfortunately, that work ethic seems to be entirely dedicated to flooding the culture with some of the laziest and most inflammatory red pill material possible.
Hello class, welcome to the JustPearlyThings YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a lesson as usual, but before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. That way you're going to be notified of my daily videos. Today, I have my lovely student, Jess.
What's up?
This is Red Pill 101.
Okay.
So today we're going to talk about virginity.
Yay.
So what do you know about virginity?
A lot.
Now, what do men value?
Virginity.
Why do they value it?
Because she's not ran through.
Good job, Jess. Good job. So, in most cases, virginity is the most valuable thing you can give to a guy. It is so powerful. Like that is the most beautiful gift you can give to someone. However, there are times when your virginity doesn't count. Now you're asking, why is that?
Okay.
Now I'll
I'm
give you
intrigued.
an example. Number one, you're a whale.
You've been listening to a sample of Manclan, a 10-part series that is being published on QAA's premium podcast feed, which you can get access to for just $5 a month by going to patreon.com/QAnonAnonymous. You'll also get access to all of Travis View's first season of Trickle Down, as well as an extra episode of QAA for every regular one, and access to our entire archive of premium episodes.
join the Manclan.